Okay, in this video here, I'm going to show gluing the powder cake on and to the bullet. And this is going to be, I'm going to use the dipping method for this. My previous videos, I brushed stuff on. You can do it either way. And for the dipping method, you need enough quantity of the glue basically to dip it in. So if you're using anything other than a large quantity, it's not going to work very well. And I've had people ask me about different things to use, and anywhere from like nitrocellulose guitar lacquer, there's, I think it's called ambrosia, it was used for making model airplanes, nail polish, you name it, Duco glue. They're all, if it has a nitrocellulose base, it should work. And if you look up the MSDS information, sometimes it'll tell you what the main product is of it. Some stuff has, some glues or lacquers have a bunch of other stuff in it. So I have no idea how it will affect the outcome or leave any residue. But the stuff I use is from Three Rivers Archery. And if you're going to use anything else, take some of your glue or lacquer and put it on like a plastic surface, like this funnel here. If I smear some glue on it, it does not stick. It's like a milk jug material. And then once it dries, peel it off, and when it's completely dry and hard, just light this, and it should burn with a bright yellow flame and leave no ash or residue behind. So if you use something and it burns real slow and it leaves a lumpy melted mass of like plastic, just don't use that. It will not work. You'll end up with a bunch of junk in your chambers. So it has to burn nice and clean with a bright yellow flame. And people think this will explode. No, it burns real slow. It's not explosive. So it burns with a nice slow rate, medium rate, but bright yellow flame and no ash. That's what you're looking for. And so the first step here is I take for the dipping method here, I found if I take my nitrocellulose glue from Three Rivers Archery and I add equal amounts of acetone to it, so I guess it would be 1-to-1 acetone and the glue. So I'm left with this. It's not real thin, but it's not real thick. And so if you're painting it on, you probably want to do a little bit thinner than this. But for dipping, I use this amount. And so before I dip them, so here's the different cartridges here from my last video. And so this row here is the Swiss powder. These three are the Schützen powder. And you can see here that you can see the biggest difference. The Schützen will be a nice, smooth, even surface. They will be nice and shiny. And the Swiss will be a little bit rougher looking. And so both of these have 2 coats on them, and you can see the difference here with those. And these are all made with 4F powder also. So this is 2 coats, and this here is 1 coat. You can put as many coats on as you want. If you just want to do 1, that's fine. The difference is these may not be completely waterproof, and you're not concerned about that. One's just that works fine. If you want to make them waterproof like the originals, dip them at least twice. And so the other thing I noticed between the Schützen and the Swiss when I dip them, when you dip them, you'll get air bubbles coming out of the Swiss. so you have a bunch of little spots where air will be coming out and creating bubbles on the outside of the powder cake. And so that tells me there's little air voids within it. So the Swiss grains are not, it's not as solid as the Schutzen. And like I was describing earlier, this is like a wall of rocks cemented together. So there's little voids in between the rocks. This is compressed. It's the same measurement of powder, and these are compressed and solid like concrete. So there is a difference between the two that I noticed when I'm dipping them. And even on some of the original ones, some of them I'd see air bubbles. And so you'll see a bubble, and they're always where the bullet and the cake meet. You'll see a bubble formed, and that's what happens when you dip them here. There's a little bit of air space in here, and you'll get a little bubble forming. So just be ready to pop them if they form. And so I'm going to glue one on here just to show how that's done. And this is the Schutzen cakes. And I always store these in a container that's airtight, and underneath this paper towel I have these desiccant packs, just to make sure no moisture gets into them. And but if the moisture gets into them, you're going to have to bake them and heat them again to drive the moisture out of them. So always store them in an airtight container. And so, and for gluing them, I like to use these little bottles here, and it makes it really easy to. And they sell these in multi-packs at some of the hobby stores. You can buy them in packs of 6, I think. And so I will just put a little drop there like that. Put the cake on. And these cakes were both made with the dextrin liqueur. So they have the same binder, the same weights, the same percentages. They were all made exactly the same. And so that's basically gluing them on. That's the easiest part. And if you use these bottles, put a safety pin on it, so if this dries up, you can kind of go like this to unclog it. That's why my safety pin is on there. And so that's just a quick tip for that. And so to dip them, it is just as easy as, so I'm going to dip this one here. This is a Swiss 4F cake with, this has not been dipped. And so I will show here, I'm going to go down over it. And this one is not going to have any air pockets, of course. And then for the end there'll be a drip on it, so I will dab the bottom here. Dab the bottom clean. And when I pull them out, I keep them moving. I keep moving them here for a couple seconds till that glue sets up, or you'll have a big drip hanging off the side. Like that. Now I have a turning machine for making fishing lures, if anybody knows about that. I should adapt to do this. It will constantly rotate your fishing lures so you don't get bubbles or in your fishing lures. But there, that's dried enough. I'm done. And so this one here is going to be a second coat. This is the Swiss one. Yeah, I always like to dab that extra and then just keep going like this. Because I don't want a big drip on the end. It might impact the firing of the cap. And there you can see a little bubble forming coming out the side there where the bullet meets the powder cake. There's a tiny little bubble. I want to pop that. And this gives a really nice, if you're really worried about them looking good, this will give you a really nice, smooth, sharp looking cartridge. If you don't care, just slap on the finish with a brush. So that's set up enough that I can just kind of go like that. And so I'm going to do this is a Schutzen. And I'm just going to dip one coat. And then the first coat really soaks in good. Like there, you can see a tiny little air bubble. I will pop that. And so once you see it kind of drying out, you're good. You can blow on it. I'll frost over. And so that's about it for this part. And then pretty much they're done. You just have to wax them and you're ready to go. Thanks for watching.